I can tell you that BM and myself will agree wholeheartedly with this. BM, you could so easily just not see this. You could have, the road is not far from us now, and you could just drive right past that and never see it. We're going to watch this leopard for a little bit more. It seems he's happy to settle down for the moment. Just see if he maybe gets up. We'll give it a minute or two, and then I think maybe go see what those lions are up to, what Hayden's up to, and you know what's happening on that side. Oh, look at those eyes. Oh, awesome, awesome leopard this. It would be amazing to see him over the next while. Well, this leopard is just lying down for the moment. We've been sitting here for a while now, seeing what he's going to do next. We are in, well, firstly, very thick bush. As we've said, to stick with him and to have stayed with him up to here was a bit of good fortune and a bit of luck. And we're actually very close to the control room, the area where Will and them are helping us and directing from. One of the game drive vehicles getting a bit close there. And we're going to stay with him for now. I don't think he's going to move too much. He's just waiting there. I think once the other vehicles leave, maybe he'll be on the move again. So from your side, you've got the benefit of going to look at some lions. Enjoy it with HT. And if anything happens here, we'll get you back to the leopard as well. See you just now.
The males has just gotten up. He's just had a bit of a look at the carcass, and I think he might be sitting down to have a bit of a meal here. So what we've got to do now is just wait for him to sit down and get settled, and then I'll reposition the vehicle. It's a little bit difficult to see at the minute. So let me just reposition the vehicle. Just stand by. I'm going to have to turn the vehicle on, of course. Bear with me, folks. I've just got to reposition this vehicle nicely that we can see this from this side. Let's watch that vehicle back. And that is what we wanted to see, and that's what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for that movement when they just get a little bit more hungry, and we noticed that they were starting to yawn and wake up and do those big yawns that they do, and that's normally indicative that they're going to make a little bit of a move or get a bit more active. So this is what it's all about. This is what Wild Safari Live is. This is happening right now here in the Djuma and Arathusa game reserves in South Africa, and I can't tell you how beautiful it is to have you here watching this live. This is what it's all about. These magnificent creatures have pulled down this buffalo early hours of this morning, we think. They've consumed about half of it. There's 5 of them. They are known as the Birmingham Pride, or the Birmingham males. I like to call them the Birmingham boys. and they're also known, just to confuse things a little bit more, as the Manuletti males. So this is fantastic, the sheer power and immense strength of these. They're only young, they're only 2.5 probably years old at the moment, and they've got a bit of growth, much bigger than that. Records have shown them up into the 200s, 200 kilograms that is. Now I'm just going to have to convert that for you in my head. That's about 385 pounds for about 185 kilogram animal, and hopefully that's rough enough conversion for you folks that you get the idea. These are big, and they are the biggest cat in Africa. Now there's some interesting sort of research and information and reading out there on lines all over. The massive amount of scientists have been working on these magnificent creatures, and there's lots of thoughts that that mane is for many different reasons. There's a really great word called sexual dimorphism. Now it basically means just a really dramatic difference between the sizes of the males and the females. And with these males, not only are they much heavier and more bulky than a female, but they've got this really showy, sort of luxuriant mane that they develop over the next 5 years, and that really does make them stand out from the rest, from the females. So what happens then is, as they grow that, the thoughts are that, and it's pretty logical, that it's to protect their head and shoulders and neck from the quite serious, sometimes fatal encounters they have with each other. But it also is to make them look much bigger and much more impressive, which they will be able to dominate females very, very easily with that size and power and strength, because the females will actually protect the pride with great ferocity. So if they have this huge male coming at them, they're less likely to do that. We just got our first tweet, or my first tweet, from Ariana on Twitter. Ariana, fantastic to have you on board, and thank you so much for tweeting us. Your question is it unusual to have these coalitions this size? Well, if you read the books and you sort of watch the documentaries and many of the sort of notes and information you can get online, many books will say that coalitions of 4 or more are quite rare. In the Sabi Sands, it's actually not as rare. It happens not every day, but these bigger groups do form. They definitely understand that they've got more power and more likelihood of succeeding over a pride of females, and also warding off any nomadic males that come through that could change their structural strategy. So it's not as unusual down here, but it can be unusual where food isn't as prolific as it is down here in the Sabi Sands. They've got a very, very good supply of food down here due to the bordering of Kruger National Park that we're on now, the transversing of, or the movement, I should say, of different herds, massive herds of buffalo particularly, which are one of the lion's favourite foods. So it's not as rare down here, but it is unusual in other parts of Africa to see coalitions of this size. So I think we're quite fortunate to see these boys, and in about 2.5 years' time, wow, are they going to be a force to be reckoned with. I'm just going to take a few images here, folks. So if you hear my camera going in the background, that's what it will be. And there's a vehicle just about to leave as well. So that's all of what you can hear, that other engine noise. But they're about to move off very, very shortly. They're just repositioning their vehicle to give their other guests a little bit of a look. You can hear that absolute power there. Wow, to be in the presence of these animals is quite overwhelming sometimes, particularly when they give you that look. They just stare straight through you. That look there. This is what I was waiting for. This is what I really wanted you to see, because you know, a lot of the time we do find lions lying down flat, and it's just great to be able to see them active, and their sheer power and immense strength when it comes to finishing off their food and showing you exactly what they're designed to do. Not only are they an incredible, powerful apex predator, but they have the ability to strip this carcass with every sort of bone or a piece of meat that they possibly can. So it's a great thing. I'm really happy that you can see this. This is happening right in front of our very eyes, right now. So this is the Arathusa and Djuma game reserves we're on at the moment, in the beautiful Sabi Sands in South Africa. And what we're witnessing right now is a lion kill in front of our very eyes, and that kill happened early this morning, as we've sort of mentioned, but they're now just woken up, and they're just having a little bit more of a feed. And it's worth waiting around, folks. That's what we did. We sat there and we watched a lot of these beautiful males just lying there flat, digesting their food and sleeping. And when you start to get these yawns happening when they're lying down, or they start to sit up and yawn, even lying on their backs, they'll start to yawn. You know that there's going to be some sort of activity happening quite soon. So this other individual, a couple of the others are coming in now. There's no friends at the carcass. It's all for one. They might tolerate each other there, but you will start to get this little bit of antagonism there from the other one, or just being patient. His body language is really still and very, very submissive. He doesn't want, they don't really want to get into a scrap. There's a lot of theatrics that goes on, but the other one will start to tolerate him. He's very, very still. He's not doing much. We just got a tweet from DJ. DJ, thanks so much for being on board with us today, and thanks for your question. DJ wants to know, DJ wants to know, do lions fight or over a kill, or do they? I'm looking at that one at the back there. DJ just resting his head on that kill, being very, very submissive and going to sleep on it, saying, "I'm not here really. I'll wait my turn." So that sort of answers a little bit of the question there. Do they fight or do they wait their turn? Well, it depends. The males, if it's a male coalition like this, they're just dealing them with themselves, and there will be one animal that will probably be more assertive than the other, and that's what's happening right now. The animal behind isn't really doing much at all, but he will start to nibble away at it, and then the other one will probably tolerate him doing that. They just have a little bit of a scuffle, but it's nothing in it really. They don't really want to hurt each other over this. They're a coalition. They want to look after each other, but they want each other to know, this is my food, just move away, you'll get your turn, type of thing. Now if it's the whole pride, the males will get in first and have their feed. Then the females and the cubs get left till last to pick up the scraps. But sometimes, there's always exceptions to the rules too, everyone. I have to say, you can read all the books and listen to all the sort of talks on lions, and there's always going to be little exceptions to this behaviour where you'll get a cub feeding just in front of a male, and that'll just depend on temperament and lots of other things. Depending on where he is in his meal, how much he's had. It does happen, but the cubs normally pick up the little bits at the end. The females are after the males, but the males go first. So really interesting to sit here and watch these guys finish off their meal. And the one at the back there that you can just see, I've been noticing him for the last few days. I might just have a little look through the binoculars and have a look at his eye there. He's just got a little injury on his left eye. Just a scar, I think. It's just a little bit of scar tissue, I think, on that left eye of his, that darker one out of the two, and he's got a few nicks and knocks out of his ears and things too, so he might have been just one of the males that had a bit of a scrap with the male of the pride when they left. Who knows? It could have been just a scrap with one of the brothers accidentally as well. We just don't know the history of these scars, but that particular individual has got a little sort of bit of scarring on his left eye there. And I noticed him a couple of days ago looking at us it certainly doesn't detract from that incredible stare that they have. Look at this immense power. One big foot holding the carcass down, and he's just nibbling off bits of meat here as and when he pleases. The other one's just sitting patiently. So, the Birmingham boys, they are doing okay for themselves here. There's no other prize that close that they have to worry about. They're definitely not making their presence felt at this age at the moment, but then they're only about 2.5 years old, as we said, so they're not very vocal. We didn't hear them vocalise when we sat with them for about 2 hours yesterday. They didn't vocalise at all. They're at an age where they just want to lay low, be successful, eat, get strong, get bigger, build up their strength, and get to a point where they can then actually make their presence felt. Wow, how lucky we've been, eh? The last few days have just been so super. We've had extraordinary elephant encounters. We've found the Birmingham boys again. And this is just great. Can we cut to Pete, please, mate? Folks, we're just going to cross to Pete and we'll come back to you just now. Okay, we'll just sit for a little bit longer and then we'll cross to Pete.
Well, welcome back this side, and I'm sure you've enjoyed the lions. Nice to see that they're getting a bit active. It's getting a bit cooler. In fact, we have a few little fine drops of, not rain, but mist almost coming in. But more importantly, we've moved a little bit, and right there, sleeping at the moment, is a beautiful young male leopard that we, through a great adventure, managed to follow this afternoon. Now, earlier we were starting to talk about the great, call it knowledge or experience or time spent with leopard in this area by the various guides and lodges, and by many of you as well. Some of you have been coming on drives with us for a while and know these leopards well. So I just want to give you a quick background again to this guy. His name is Djuma. As explained earlier, he's a little bit shy, is maybe not the right word, elusive maybe, that's actually the word I was looking for earlier. He's a little bit elusive sometimes. And we're going to talk a little bit more about him, and more specifically the leopards that he's related to, if you want, in this area. But let's sit a little bit. It'll be nice to see his face while we talk about him. Let's give him a few minutes, although he does look to be happily sleeping at the moment. Well, from the lions to the leopard, and all of them doing what a lot of cats do very well. In fact, the term that we use amongst the rangers here is flat cat. And Djuma at the moment is very much that. A flat cat, having a little rest. Now, as with all wild animals, and certainly with all live experiences, you don't know what's going to happen. So he might stay like this for another hour or 2 or 3 and just sleep until it's earlier in the evening. Or he might get up in the next 5 seconds and start moving or going along. Or he might get disturbed. It's not impossible. We saw only earlier that a hyena came walking past. So there might be things, sort of external factors that might make him move. Elephant, they make leopard move as well. So anything can happen. But for the moment, we're going to look at him and see what he gets up to. The lions, we'll get back to them as well if there's anything specific happening there. And I'm just trying to think of what to tell you next. There's so many things to talk about. Those lions are brilliant. 5 young males. There's a lot of stories around them that could be happening over the next days and certainly over the next months or year or so. Well, this leopard, he's a young male. Djuma is about 2 years old. In fact, he'll be 2 years old in the next few weeks. He was born estimated in December. And Karula, the female leopard, his mum, beautiful name, Karula is his mother's name. It means peaceful or tranquil. And Karula typically has her cubs in December. And that's one of the things that I think I would give my back teeth for, is if we could find her in the next week, because she's almost certainly at the moment either giving birth to her cubs or getting ready to give birth to them in the next few days, or already has had them in the last week or so. She's been seen only briefly in the last while, and behaviorally everything that we could see pointed to the fact that she's going to have cubs very soon. So all of these things tie into the, call it the family tree if you want, of these leopards. So this male, aged 2 years old now, he's independent from his mother. It will not be impossible to see him with her, but not likely from now on forwards. And he'll be living as a nomad for the moment, still under protection of Karula's territory. So he's living in her area as well as in the territory of his father, Mvula, a big male. Mvula is considered one of the 5 biggest leopards in this general area, which makes him probably one of the 5 biggest leopards anywhere. So this guy has still got a few months, even as long as 6-8 months left, that he can sort of be tolerated. You're sort of like someone that's, you know, finished school but still staying at home for a year or two. That's sort of what's happening at the moment with this guy. And Djuma, I'm hoping we're going to see more of him. And I'm hoping he's not going to lie around for the next 2 hours, but only for the next few minutes, because this is the time when leopards get active. This crepuscular time, approaching sunset. That's when the cats start to move. That's when they get active. That's when the weather and the conditions are perfect for them to do things. And we're going to be right there seeing it. But for the moment, this guy's sleeping, but the lions are eating. So enjoy it, and we'll keep a watch on this side.
So this other boy, the one that was around the back, he's just come round to this side now, and he's trying to see if he can just edge his way into a little bit of a feed from the front, because the other boy is not real happy about him having anything at the moment, and he's just being very, very well mannered, sitting there. He might start to have a little bit of a chew at some of it just now, but I think he's doing the right thing. He doesn't want to get into a scrap with that other male, which is who is a bit bigger than him as well, I must admit. So you might be getting some noise in the background, another couple of vehicles talking, and also a very high-pitched sort of vibrating sound, which is cicadas, which are an insect that occurs here and many other countries in the world, and they make a really high-pitched vibration sound up in the trees, and they'll do it for quite a period of time, and then they just stop like they have now. So if you do hear that, it's normally just insects in the background. The microphones we are using are very sensitive and very directional, so if there's cicadas directly behind the lines, you'll definitely pick them up. They're a flying insect, beautiful insect, occurring in many countries, as I said, and that vibration that they make is can really cut through the airwaves. So this one that's closest to us, which by the way is only about, I'd say about 12 feet from the front of our vehicle, he's definitely the one at the end of the line. He didn't even start eating when the other one left. The first one that was eating is now moved off, and now another one just got up and came and had a feed, and he still hasn't had his turn. But he's doing the right thing. He'll get some. There's loads of food left there. But they're really beautiful. They're in such fantastic condition. There's a little breeze starting to pick up, folks. Chasing flies. We're so fortunate to be sitting here, folks. It's just a really great thing to start Big Cat Week with this, a leopard and a lion, or lions in the first encounter. It's just brilliant, and we're really excited about it. It's a good omen. We're looking forward to finding as many of these magnificent creatures as we possibly can over the next week. A little bit of I think he might be grooming himself actually, but he will start to get a little bit of a meal at some point. Just a couple of vehicles departing and moving up for other people to come and have a look. And this is the really important thing, sharing these encounters with as many of the guests as we can. Very, very important. But you can see by the how conditioned the lines are to the vehicles. We literally are about 12 feet away, I'd say, from the back of the individual on the left, and they are so unperturbed by us. He's starting to have a little bit of a sniff now. You might see a little bit of a scuffle here, you might not. These two might get on. So he is getting his turn, which is fantastic. A little bit of cooperation there. I like that one with the scar on his eye. He's got a great face. I might just need to take a little picture of him. So you'll probably get also relationships between the two within the 5 boys, the Birmingham males that strengthen. Look at this is fantastic. This wonderful head rubbing, social bonding. So there's a couple of little scuffles going on now. The one that was the sort of more subordinate one has now moved into the eating position, and the other one has taken a back seat. Really fantastic to see them this active. Just great. And the thing that's going for us today is the temperature. It's definitely dropped well below 28 when we first started this evening, and now we're in a time that's so comfortable for them. I reckon we're down in the low 20 degrees, probably in the 70s Fahrenheit, I'd say. Just got a question from Mary on Twitter. Mary, welcome aboard and fantastic to have you with us. And it's a really good question. I've used the word pride and I've used the word coalition. Now, what's the difference between a pride and a coalition, Mary wants to know. Well, a pride consists of normally related females, most of them related, not always, but most of them related, and with the odd nomadic female that might have come through for one reason or another, governed by or dominated by a male / males with the dominant male's offspring. So basically it's made up of males, females and their offspring, whereas a coalition is the term that's used when it's talking about a group of males. So the coalition is within the pride, but it'll be a coalition of males. So basically, several males that have bonded together to improve their strength and success, not only in the situation of getting enough females to reproduce with, but in the sense of power and protection and basic survival, really. So they get many benefits out of it. And we're in the presence of a coalition of 5 males, which will eventually take over a pride, and then they will form a pride, but they will still be referred to as a coalition of males. Hopefully that answered it for you, Mary, and my apologies for not explaining that more clearly, actually. But this is what's great about Wild Safari Live. You can ask questions and you can steer us through the conversation, exactly what you would do if we were out on game drive anywhere. And that's what's a wonderful thing about it. You can ask these questions and have the conversation with us. Melanie's in California, and Melanie sent us an email. Thanks, Melanie, so much. It's great to have you on board as well and have these sensational questions coming through, because they're very interesting, and it steers us through this conversation so beautifully. Melanie's question is what won't they eat from the carcass? So what will they leave, basically? Well, they'll leave a lot of the bones, probably the spinal column and the skull, and they won't eat the skin. They'll pull the skin back. They won't eat the hooves, and they'll probably eat as much meat as they possibly can off it. And occasionally, some of the easier bones, but the bigger bones they won't, and that will be left to the next generation of, or the next level down, I should say, of animals in this food chain, and that is animals like the hyena. The vultures will come in as well, and they'll pick the carcass. Clean of meat, but the vultures will eat pretty much everything except for the horns. And there's one part of the the carcass that the lions also won't eat, and that's called the rumen. So that's like the stomach contents, the plant matter. You'll get the scavengers, the jackals, the vultures, and loads of other animals that come in. So it's a part of the food chain. They're definitely getting into this a little bit more now. Have to do a lot of work to get that skin back on the front hindquarters there, and then they'll have a lot more meat to finish, but that one's had his fill. He's just got him plonked down over in the grass there. We've still got this young male, this brother just here. So we've got another one now. It's like a tag team, isn't it? The wrestlers are coming into the ring and having their share. This is a different individual. Fantastic display. Just getting a fine mist of moisture on us at the moment. It's not really rain, it's just a little misty droplet I'm feeling now and again. So in the case that we did have to rush to cover, we will go to a safe place and carry on. And it's a little bit different from this. There won't be any lions eating next to us, but we can still get under cover and carry on talking to you about this magnificent place and broadcasting live on Wild Safari Live from the Djuma and Arathusa game reserves here in Sabi Sand, South Africa. So remember, if you've got any questions, send them to questions@wildearth.tv, or you can tweet us at hashtag Safari Live, and we'll get to as many of them as we possibly can. Okay, folks, so I think what we'll do is we've watched these guys feeding now for probably a half an hour. I think I'd love to cross and see what Pete's up to, so let's go and see what Pete's getting up to at the moment, and we'll see you just now.
Alright, well, welcome this side again. We thought to show you around a little bit more, just to show you that there's lots of other wildlife apart from the big cats that we've been, I have to say again, extremely lucky to start with this afternoon. We've got some impala here. The reason we could do so is Craig, one of the guides from one of the other lodges, he's staying with that leopard for us, and if it moves he's going to let us know. So if there's any change there, we'll get an update from the guys. In the meantime, we thought we'll show you one of the other things that is, for me, an extremely special part of this year. It's really one of those things that it's a highlight for me. In all the years that I guided, all the years that I lived in the bush, it was always a highlight when the baby impalas come along. And I don't think I have to explain why. Just look at them. There's that expression about, you know, people saying, I've forgotten things that you might still be learning, and sometimes I want to jog my memory and I can't remember all the details of all the things I've learned over the years, but there's something about antelope that I'll tell you just now, which I think I remember correctly, but we'll get to that in a minute or so. Well, for those of you that missed the last few minutes, we have decided to leave from the leopard and also from the lion and get you to this vehicle, and you're back with myself, Peter, and with Djuma on the vehicle here. And the leopard is sleeping. There is a game drive with it, so if Djuma gets up and moves, they will let us know. So we're going to keep our ears on the radio and get back to the lions if there's movement as well. In the meantime, I was just saying now that impalas really are one of my favorite animals out here, and also it's one of my favorite times of year when these little guys come along. Let me just move slightly forward so we can see. Oh, come on, I think gravity might help us move. This time of year, sort of middle November to middle December, when these impalas are all young, it really is a very, very special time for me. I can spend easily time with impalas and be just as happy as if I was sitting with leopard or elephant or lion, you know, the big games, just because they are just the cutest things, and they're great animals as well. Impalas, highly social. Look at the mother there, just sniffing different babies. And I was saying just now that in my memory there's things that I've forgotten that I used to know that are interesting snippets of information. And the word antelope, which is the sort of collective name for most of the buck, if you want, out in Africa, although buck normally refers to deer, and there's various differences between deer and antelope, which we'll touch on later. But the word antelope refers to the big brown eyes, or to the beautiful big eyes. And if I remember correctly, and this is where someone might help me actually and let me know, it's derived from the Greek word something something, which then in the end ended up being antelope. So you can easily see why. You can easily see why you can just really like impala. And I don't mean like impala in the sense that leopard and lions like impala. I mean in the sense of just enjoying the beautiful view and activity around them. We're going to move around with them. This herd have sort of woken up in the last few minutes. Not woken up, but I mean sort of shaken off some of the raindrops. It's not raining at the moment, but it is dripping. That sort of mist from earlier has become a slightly heavier mist. But for now it's good enough that we can stay out here. And we're just going to show you some of the general wildlife in the area. We actually very, very close to Voyatela Lodge here on Djuma, as well as very close to the control room, where Will and Graham and the guys are all doing an amazing job at getting you here to Africa. And I just have to turn you a little bit. In a second, I've got someone calling me. this is going, it runs off a lead from Peter's room. Maybe the plug went off in the night and then it switched back on in the morning.
Well, we're still with these wonderful Birmingham boys, as they're known, or the Manuletti males. They're still chowing down on this this buffalo, and they're really making a bit of a mark on it now. They consumed about half of it this morning, and they'll probably eat on this for the rest of the night and protect it and stay in this location, which is fantastic for us, that's for sure. We get to observe these beautiful animals for a lot longer and show you these great pictures coming to you live. But I'm really interested to know what their next move is. Are they going to stay on the reserves that we're on, or are they going to move? Look at the power in this. Look at this power and strength. Trying to turn the whole beast over. Look at this. We're just getting a light sprinkling of misty rain here at the moment, folks, so I've just got to put a few covers on things, so please excuse a little bit of background noise. Just getting a few of our little bits and pieces, technical equipment covered up. It's not too much of a worry, but this is live, this is exactly how it happens, and we want you to know what's going on in the vehicle, what's going on outside the vehicle, and how we operate. You'll get to know that over the week, driving with us every day if you can, and you'll learn exactly how we operate these vehicles and bring you these beautiful pictures from this amazing place, Djuma and Arathusa Game Reserves here in Sabi Sand, South Africa. This buffalo is quite a young cow. She wouldn't have been as big a job as one of the big boys to take down, that's for sure. But still, they learn as they go, and sometimes they become specialist buffalo hunters. And there's certainly a great supply of buffalo in this area. he's a beautiful boy. Absolutely amazing. 10 feet from our vehicle, 3 meters, and that look. Just making his way down. He's going to lie down there. Rain's starting to get a little bit heavier. We might get the odd spot on the lens, folks, so we may have to put our rain cover on our camera in a second as well. But this is how it happens. This is exactly how it happens. The little things we have to go through, but we will get there in the end always. You're out in the elements, you just deal with them, and that individual just laid down there. We're definitely looking out for something, just keeping an eye out. There might be a couple of scavengers around, there might be a hyena lurking or something like that. Control, do you copy? We'll make a call on the rain just after we get back on. Yeah, absolutely. This immense power. And I have to remind you folks, don't forget to check out Big Cat Week tonight on Nat Geo Wild. It's a fantastic opportunity to see some incredible documentaries, so really do try and check out Big Cat Week tonight on Nat Geo Wild. He's definitely trying to turn this buffalo over. So folks, it's starting to. We've got a little bit of rain coming down, so if you can bear with us, we're just going to try and put a rain cover on our camera. So you hear a little bit of rustling and carry on, but that's being live on a vehicle. That's the sort of thing that happens when we're live. We're out in the middle of a really, really wild area. And it will be a little bit of messing around, but you'll be with us, and you're out here with us. It's a fine sprinkle of rain. It's not too bad, but we really like to try and stay the one walking across the road here in front of us. Just going to sit down right in front of us there. 4 to 5 metres, about 15 feet in front of our vehicle, folks. We've got an animal off to the right feeding. We've got another 2 asleep behind us. We're nearly surrounded, and wow, what a feeling it is. Absolutely fantastic. That look is going right through us. Okay, so what we're going to do is cross to Pete. He's having a bit of a look around. He's got his wet weather gear out probably as well. We're going to pop ours on whilst we're having a little break over to Pete. We'll see you just now.
Alright, welcome back this side. And we actually left the Impala briefly, and this one there was a bit of a technical glitch there on the vehicle, but everything seems fine. There was an elephant actually not far from that leopard, so we wanted to get back there in case the elephant's presence sort of mingled with the leopard's one and there was some activity from it. But it turns out the elephant went in a totally different direction, some really thick stuff, so we decided not to follow it in there. And Craig, the other guide, is still sitting with the leopard. He's got some very patient guests, so they're happy to sit there and let us know if there's movement. So we decided to bring you back here to these lovely things that we were talking about only a few minutes back. Impalas. As I said earlier, it's a very special time of the year for me when the Impala baby starts arriving. It's only in the last couple of weeks, really, the last 2 weeks or so, that they started. And by now, most of the females have had the lambs. There's still a few of them that haven't, but they will be sort of having their young one probably in the next few days, week or so at the most. You find that Impalas have the youngsters as a species sort of spread out over 2 months, from November to about January. But as a herd, in other words per group, quite often or quite typically you find that that they will have the youngsters in the space of about 2 or 3 weeks. Sorry, I just noticed that one there. Let me just make sure. Yes, it is that one. Look at the one at the back of the two. You might have noticed a little limp. And this is an Impala that we've been watching closely now for it's probably almost a week. And it's got an injured leg. It's quite sad to see. The lucky part is it doesn't look like it's hurting, but it does look like it's dislocated. And so far it survived. But not always easy to see. Keep in mind this is a very wild, massive open area, millions of acres, and we don't interfere at all. This is wildlife, even though we can see them so brilliantly. So we'll keep an eye on this little guy and see what happens. In the meantime, many other healthy ones to look at. And I believe we have a question. That's great. Hello, Jennifer. Jennifer wants to know how big is an Impala lamb. Trying to think of giving you a... It's difficult to compare them to something because look at that. It's just all legs, and you should see here's 1 or 2 coming along that were just born, coming through there. Those 2 running are slightly older. They've already got the coordination of 4 or 5 days old. Although that one on the left-hand side might only be 2 or 3 days old, but Jennifer, as I said, in the beginning, especially the first 3-4 days from birth, they are all legs and just this tiny little body, and incredible at running. I mean, look at that one running on 3 legs, easily keeping up with the other ones. And the size of it would be... it's always difficult unless you're standing right next to them. The body would be about the size of a medium-sized handbag. So let's start with that. So you've got the body, about the size of a medium-sized handbag, and the neck would be about as thick as a grown man's forearm, average size, and the legs would be thinner than a broomstick and about a third as long. I always like using comparisons of things. Alternatively, they could be about the size, body size of a medium to small whippet, for those of you that like dogs, but with much longer legs than a whippet and probably faster as well. They only weigh a few kilograms at birth. And we're going to look at some more young animals up that side. See how we're going to do. So I think I'm going to go around. Whee, look at this one. Those are baby blue wildebeest, or many of you might know them as gnu. Now we get them in this area in small herds, normally 10, 20, 30 adults together. In East Africa, you get them, of course, in their hundreds of thousands for the incredible migration, which is one of the true spectacles of nature and certainly of Africa. And these are the babies. And we have been very lucky that over the last couple of weeks we have seen 4 of them being born live. Saw it happen as it happened. Quite common to get different species of animals mixing, in this case the blue wildebeest as well as the impala. For them, it's the more animals together, the more eyes, the more ears, and ultimately the safer it is for you. There's always safety in numbers, both from a detection of predators point of view, but also from just sheer numbers. If there's 2 impalas and the leopard catches 1, your odds are not very good. But if there's 100 impalas and 40 wildebeest, then your odds are looking much better. So safety numbers on many different levels. Just listening to the surrounding sound. There's a fork-tailed drongo calling in the distance. There's also some pretty heavy alarm calls from a squirrel, which normally would make me think there might be a leopard around somewhere, but there was an eagle flying over just now, one of the, what's called a Wahlberg's eagle, not a very large eagle. And as you can imagine, squirrels don't like eagles very much. Oh, look at the wildebeest coming down. Yeah, they look like they're in quite a happy mood. Blue wildebeest sometimes are referred to as the clowns of the bush, and when you get them in a mood like this where they're sort of playful and running and pretty much just exercising if you want, it can be beautiful to watch. Exactly like what's happening now. Look at that. interesting behavior this is typical strutting. Look at that wildebeest, the way it's running. You can see it's almost doing sort of specific steps, and that's very often what happens if there are predators around. Again, lions, leopard, those will be the two that wildebeest react to, and that's normally done to show the predator that, look at me, I'm really fit, I'm healthy, I can run, I can jump, you know, you've got no chance of catching me. And strutting is a very important behavior. And I must say, with all these squirrels calling, I'm wondering if there's maybe something more than just an eagle around. But I think what this is because they've got these youngsters, these little guys are very young. They are just showing them, look at that, showing them different steps and different ways of strutting, so that the youngsters, like we see there, can practice those moves. I think this is what this was about. Just keep an eye on those wildebeest, they're running around. A couple more up that way. Next to these guys, the drizzle has actually stopped. A bit of rain, or not rain really, but soft mist we had earlier seems to have stopped. These guys are moving out into the open. The impala as well as the blue wildebeest, they like to sleep out in these open areas. And we are now literally not even 100 yards from final control, where all the magic happens before this goes out into the world, or the way I like to think of it, before it pulls all of you from all over the world in to join us. And on top of everything, as always the case when you're live in the bush, all its challenges, all the joys and things that go on, we've had a power failure this afternoon, so you might hear a generator as I get closer to these animals, but that is purely because we do everything we can all the time to keep you alive in Africa with us. So if you hear a bit of a sound in the background, we are very, very close to camp. And we've got another question. I like questions. We're going to spend some time with these antelope to see what they get up to as they're getting ready for the night. So if there's a couple of questions, it'll be great to answer a few. Well, hello Gail. Gail is asking a question out of Warwick. And Gail just wants to know if these impala will split up when these youngsters get a bit bigger. Well, ultimately yes. I mean, if they keep growing and growing and growing, the herd at some stage will have to split up again. But the impala herds in this area, they vary again from as few as 10, 15 animals up to 100. I wouldn't say you often see herds of more than about 100 adults, maybe 150. So this herd is in that sort of middle range at the moment. So I don't think they'll necessarily split up. It's also that they stay to certain areas. They're not territorial as such. I mean, your male impala can be, especially during the rutting season. But the females, they tend to stay in certain areas and then move every so often as need be. But we are in this area called Quarantine, which it's got an interesting history behind it. I'll tell you a bit more about it just now, because we will be spending a bit of time here. It's one of the great areas for viewing. It's also one of the areas we often find leopard when they're hunting. So I'm just looking at that youngster, the limping impala there in the foreground again. Little impala that we'll see what happens to her over the next days and weeks. What I was going to say, Gail, about these impala is there's enough for them or there's not so many of them, that's maybe a better way to put it. There's not so many of them that they need to split up when these youngsters mature. And they're staying in an area that has got really good food, very, very good grazing and browsing. Impalas are mixed feeders, so they eat both leaves and grass. And there's also water close by, so the specific area that they are in is ideal for keeping more than them. So there's no really need for them to split the group. Look at that young wildebeest in the back. No, the right in the back again. Okay, you're looking at that one. So I was looking at the one rolling in the background. One was having a bit of a roll in the dust, or in the wet sand at the moment. This one, very importantly, getting milk. Now let me let you in on some of the stories that have been happening over the last couple of weeks. As I said, we've been here. Sorry, I have to compete with the bird life as well. Those were Franklins. Natal Franklins making the noise there. Over the last few weeks, as we've been getting ready for this, we've been doing live rehearsals all the time, so it's been great fun. And as part of that experience, we've seen some amazing things. Wild dogs that we'll probably talk about at some stage. We've seen beautiful leopard, lion, and we've also seen 4 wildebeest being born. The first one, and as far as we know, the first one that was born while being shared or viewed live, was spotted by VM, who's on camera this afternoon on the vehicle with me. And during the course of the birth, it was one that took a little bit longer. It was decided by many people watching with us that wildebeest or that calf was going to be called VM. Now the difficult thing is to recognize them, because to us humans, sort of like, I guess for wildebeest the other way around, all the wildebeest look the same. As we were talking about this, the next female started giving birth, and that was a female that I haven't seen yet, but I'm sure she's here somewhere. She's got a funny horn, sort of a broken horn, so we can actually recognize her. She was called Brian. Brian is VM's counterpart on the vehicle with HD at the moment, the other sort of main cameraman on this. And that was the first day. 2 days later, if I remember correctly, 2 days, 3 days maybe, but I think 2 days later, we came across them again, and there were 2 females giving birth again. I saw one, and Scott, who's the other presenter doing morning drives with us at the moment, you will get to know him at some stage. Scott was doing his first drive, and we went to swap vehicles quickly, and he came to see the second one. So there's 4 wildebeest here named after VM, Brian, Peter was one of the names after myself, because it's one that I saw, and Scott. Just a bit of the sort of, call it the behind the scenes stories going on here. We will try and find Brian for you, because Brian is the one that we really can recognize, and in my mind all the other ones are called VM, because VM was the first one to spot the first live birth. So there's a bit of the inside scoop for you. What a lovely view, beautiful setting here. I think these guys are getting ready to settle down. You see the wildebeest youngsters in the background, they are lying down. A bit of grooming going on. Grooming is very important for all these animals, keep themselves clean. One of the things which I still find quite amazing is these Impala lambs, within hours after birth, I mean within minutes they're up on their legs and running, but within hours they're grooming as well. So it's almost like they know it instinctively. They don't even follow the lead from the adults. They just start to groom and keep themselves clean. But as I said, such a beautiful area this. I could sit here the whole day just looking at that view, looking at the wildlife. We are very, very close to camp, so just to explain, if you hear a generator in the back, we've had a power failure as well this afternoon, so we are running on, Impala's running off. We are running on generator power. We're going to take a short drive around. I haven't heard anything from Craig. I think I might want to sneak back towards that leopard. This is the kind of time, getting a bit darker, sun is getting low. I mean, we've got thick cloud cover, so it is a bit of sort of premature darkness or premature dusk. But I do think that this is about the time that leopard should start getting active. So I want to make my way slowly back there. We'll see if we see anything en route, and then see what the evening brings. It's just here, there's the radio and the game drives now. That bird call that you can hear while looking at this area, it's from a woodland kingfisher, which are not always easy to see, even though they're easy to hear. I don't see it. Oh, here it is, here it is, here it is. I was looking up in the tree. Of course, like birds do, it flew away. And they both flew away. There were two of them. We'll try and show them. They're a little bit tricky to find sometimes, or to see. You can find them easily because you hear them calling all the time, but to actually see them can be a bit tricky. But a beautiful kingfisher, about that big, turquoise and blue, dark blue, black on the wing, white, grey belly, beautiful bird. But one thing that's really synonymous with summer in the lowvelds, you get them calling and you can hear them calling all the time. I'm going to tell you more about this area very shortly. Just get back onto the track in front here. We're going to take a leisurely drive across this beautiful area known as Quarantine. And I'll explain to you just now where the name comes from. Okay, so on the move, and in case you've been away for a bit, just to put you in the loop again, we are driving through this beautiful area. We've left those Impala and wildebeest just further back there. We want to take a slow drive back towards the leopard. It's getting darker now, slightly prematurely because of this heavy cloud cover, but I've got a feeling that leopard will start moving soonish. So I want to get closer to there, and in the meantime just thought we'll take you across this beautiful area and tell you why it's called Quarantine, because I promise you in the next week on these drives you're going to be hearing the name Quarantine every so often. There's a leopard named after this area, the brother to Djuma that we're on our way back to. He's called Quarantine Male, and this area has its name, or derives its name from the history, if you want, of Djuma Game Reserve, which is now part of Sabi Sands and part of Kruger National Park, collectively 6 million odd acres, so massive wild area. And just look around while we drive, and let's actually show you that quickly. We've got a very special, what we call our bush tent, just there. This is where we run to if it's really raining very hard, and it's a beautiful setting right up on a high point here, so you've got a lovely 360 view around it, and it's just a tarpaulin or a top with a log, a couple of ropes to keep it up. And I love this place. So somewhere in the next few days, if we have a big rainstorm, we'll go hide under that and we'll sit there with you, enjoy the view, enjoy the rain, and answer some questions and talk about Africa and all the beautiful things we experience. And that is also where we're going to be later on to do a campfire chat. We're going to be sitting over there, we can have a fire going. HT and myself are going to talk a little bit about the bush and Africa and all the things we've seen, and answer some questions as well. So if you have some specific questions, maybe about wildlife, maybe about this area that we're in, maybe something you want to ask Hayden or ask myself from my experience, or just something interesting, you know, why we love Africa. That's one of my favorite questions. In fact, let's just do this for now as a practice. One or two of you, or all of you, I don't mind, just send in why you love Africa. Not long ones, in short, just why you love Africa. For me, Africa just personifies everything that is adventurous and beautiful and wild. I love wildernesses, and Africa has got some of the most amazing wildernesses in the world. So let's hear from a few people, why do you love Africa? And you can send that by email to questions@wildearth.tv, or you can tweet it, hashtag Safari Live, and tell us why do you love Africa. We'll touch on a few of those later on when we sit around the campfire and talk about it. So this area, to get back to it, so I got distracted there. Africa is one of my favorite words. One of my favorite places, obviously. I was born here. But this area, way back in the history of this place, before it became part again of this beautiful, massive wildlife wilderness area called the Greater Kruger National Park, which encompasses also Sabi Sands Game Reserve, Timbavati Game Reserve, Manyeleti, all these beautiful names. This area was used when they brought animals in, when they brought wild animals back into this area to maybe bring some more genetic variety in, if you want, or to introduce species that had been moved out of the area. They would release them in this area first. So it was fenced off. It's a few hectares big. I don't actually know, quarantine is probably 4 or 5 hectares, I'm guessing, which is about 15 acres. And they would release the animals in that first, just so that they could have a place to settle down in. Because if you release animals after capture and they've been traveling, they can be very traumatized a bit, and they can run around, and the social structure can be broken up because one runs this way and one runs that way. But if you give them a few days just to settle down in a beautiful, safe environment, they regroup, they form their social bonds again, and then you let them into the greater reserve. They can do so in a much more calm way, and obviously a much more successful way. So this is what this area used to be, and now it's just this lovely area on which we see spectacular wildlife. So yes, now you know why it's called quarantine. I love that. Free roaming animals and sunsets that take us away from where we might be at the time. Enjoy the wilderness aspect of it. Open spaces, I like that. I love open space. I'm from Namibia originally, which is the second lowest population density in the world. So a very special part of Africa for me, and I can certainly agree with open spaces. Those are just some of the feedbacks on Twitter at the moment about why you love Africa. Like that one as well. Beautiful and not cramped. Someone's saying that they like the fact, again, space around them. I think that is one of the great things about Africa. So I'm just listening to all the guys. There's lots of radio chatter going on. Craig is leaving the leopard, so this is perfect timing. Not doing too much yet. Just going to give him time to come out, and we're going to pop in there again. If you've maybe just joined us, we had an incredibly, I don't know what other word to use than extremely lucky start to this afternoon's drive. We not only had the lions with Hayden, but we also found about 4 minutes before we went live. We were looking around. We had an indication that there might be a leopard in the area, but literally minutes before we went live, we spotted this leopard up in a tree, and it was lovely to see. And we've had an incredible start to the drive. The leopard we followed through some very thick bush and lots of excitement and things going on. There was a hyena at one stage going close by, and then the leopard settled down. And I expect he'll do so for a little while, but I think he'll be moving soon. So we're going to be popping our heads in again, seeing what he gets up to. Cheers guys, enjoy your afternoon, eh?
You're not pulling back in?
Yeah, I'll sit here for now. Is someone coming?
Aubrey's on his way.
Okay, well I'll pull out when he comes here. So if you can just tell him, I'll be off radio for now. Thanks, man. Okay guys, I'm just chatting to Craig there. You'll see Craig at some stage on the drive. But it's a very, very important part. The game ranges in this area. Okay. Where has he gone? He's moved slightly.
There he is.
This just proves. This just proves how difficult they are. We know the leopard is exactly just here, and I couldn't see him when we moved in. VM's just spotted him. He's lying flat down in the back. We're going to have to move a bit more to see them. But we do know what you can see at the moment. They are much bigger cats than this. Enjoy the lions, and we'll see you back here in a bit.
We've been with them for about nearly 3 hours now, coming up to 2.5 hours. We've seen some great action. We've seen them sleeping and rolling over and digesting when we first started. Then a few of them got up and started to move over to the carcass, which was great to see. And then a little bit of an altercation between two individuals, and then they've dragged the carcass now up this embankment here, over to here in the vegetation, where they'll probably consume majority of that off tonight. Now, I want to share something with you folks. I want to share something with you quite special, and we'll just have a little look at that, and then Brian will come back to me. I'm going to show you something, a little bit of magic. The immense power of that animal at the moment. Yeah, it really does show you the enormous power and strength of these animals. Whilst we're just watching him in the background, I want to show you something quite special. Now, you're going to see this thing over the next few weeks, the next week, sorry. You've seen it maybe online a little bit as well. This is the lucky porcupine quill. This porcupine quill, ever since we've had it on the vehicle, we've had these fantastic encounters. Well, call me superstitious, I don't know. But it's a bit of fun anyway. It's the lucky porcupine quill, and when we're not having great luck, we give it a bit of a rub, and we all have a bit of a touch of it, and then we get good luck. We found lion yesterday, lion this morning, leopard yesterday, leopard this morning, incredible elephant encounters. Anyway, just a bit of fun. But we'll probably have that in shot quite a bit over the next week. It's really fantastic to be in the presence of these guys, and we literally are only about 4 meters away right now. Of course we're keeping an eye on them, of course we know what we're doing, and of course we're not doing anything to change their behaviour. But what I really want to make sure that we do is keep up and keep track of these guys. That's what I really want to keep track of. The Birmingham males, or the Manualetti males as they're known, and try and see if they stay on Djuma or Arathusa, because that would just be ultimate for us. We can find out what they get up to over the next few days. Can we move back a little bit, maybe? Okay. Okay. So we're still sitting with the Birmingham males, or the Birmingham boys as I call them, or the Manualetti males they're also known as, and you can probably hear a lot of things going on at the moment, and I think that's one of the things about live that we like to explain. There'll be background noise that happens with us rustling around in the vehicle if we're trying to put things under cover, or the rain's coming down, or we've got to check something, and I'm sure you understand that. That's one of the wonderful things about this sort of raw and honest delivery of this Safari Live. And you also might hear things that you don't see, but you don't quite know what they are. Well, there's one of this really sort of high-pitched going on at the moment. That was my impression. They are cicadas, or cicadas, some people pronounce it. C-I-C-A-D-A, cicada or cicada, and they're an insect. They're a flying insect that live but mostly in trees and on vegetation. They're a beautiful creature, and they do make that very, very high-pitched vibration sound, and you will hear it on from time to time. It's got nothing to do with our audio, but our camera, our microphones are very, very sensitive, so you will hear everything from the old bones crunching on that feed that he's on there now, down to cicadas, down to us breathing, and maybe talking amongst ourselves just on a directive type of thing as well. So Brian might just say to Brian, do you want me to move back a bit, mate? And he'll say, no, I'm fine here, or something. It's all about this communication, and you being on board with us, you really do experience that. That's what Wild Safari Live is all about. It's everything. It's the raw and honest portrayal of the bush, and I don't think, as I said right at the beginning of today's show, I don't think I've ever done anything as exciting in TV as this. It is absolutely brilliant, and it's like a rebirth for me in this. It's just great. And the great thing about this also, folks, is that we can talk to control, and when we know Peter's up to something, Pete's actually got that leopard on the moment, and it's actually on the move. So we're going to cross back to him, and I'll see you just now. So we've just come back. Sometimes we can have a little glitch here and there because of we go down into these little dry riverbeds and things like that, and the topography or the geography and so many different factors can make a little loss of signal now. Again, we just have to jump back to each other if that happens, and I'm sure you understand. We're broadcasting this live from the African bush, so there's going to be a little glitch now and again, but I think you'll get the taste of it and how addictive it is to be here, right now. What you're seeing right now is exactly what's happening, and we're in the presence of 5 beautiful male lions, and we've been sitting with them for a bit of time, and yeah, we're going to keep a track on these guys over the coming days and see if they do anything else spectacular, because they do a fair bit of sleeping and digesting all that incredible protein. The light is definitely dropping, folks, as for us as well, and it drops very, very quickly. So bear with us on that. We'll push the cameras to the point that we still get good pictures and we don't diminish the quality, but we will be losing light. Okay, we're going to try Pete again, folks. We'll see you just now. Reposition that.
Well, we're back with the leopard again, and he's moving, and he's moving straight up towards, guess where? Quarantine, the area we were just looking at, up towards where there is also impalas with lambs, wildebeest with calves. So let's follow this cat and see what he gets up to. He's also heading straight towards where the fire area is going to be, where we're going to have the campfire chat. So yes, it might be an interesting one. We might have impala, wildebeest, leopard, you know, everything around there. But we are the humans. We're sort of at the apex of things, and so on. Let's have a look at this, guys. Beautiful. I'm just happy that we can see this leopard now. Awesome. Craig has also come back. He was very patient earlier, so his patience also paid off. Ooh. I know this terrain is going into now. If we think the stuff we went through earlier was thick, this is a whole different level. You get these bushes, all these smaller bushes called monkey thorns, or not monkey thorns, sorry, monkey oranges. And here's a bit of a gap. Let's use this, see what we can do. Hold on a bit. There we go. There he goes. I see his tail. Now we're just trying to find a path which we can weave behind this guy. Very, very typical of Djuma. Djuma is, as we've said, the elusive leopard, and he picks it, or he does so by using terrain. He just loves moving in thick stuff. Where is he? There he is, beautiful. He's going to walk right through there for us. Oh, look at that. Amazing. I was talking about it earlier in the beginning of the drive, how incredibly beautiful these animals are to watch when they move. Just so sleek. Absolutely stunning to see them move. I wonder where he's going. Well, I know where he's going. He's going to quarantine. He's going hunting. As I said, we're going to do our utmost best to stay with him. Oh, what's he doing? He's stalking suddenly. No, he's moving again. All the time, listening, stopping, looking, smelling, using all the senses. Touch is actually a very, very important sense when it comes to hunting. He's got to feel with his paws, not only the toes itself, but also the fine hairs around the paws. He can feel before he steps in a twig that might snap. So they walk really quietly, and touch plays an important role in that. Tricky stuff here, Craig. A tricky terrain, huh? Stopping, going, stopping, going. I'm going to try and stick with him as far as possible. Let me try and get him on the other side, yeah. Yeah, we can be a little bit more like this, yeah. Alright, I was just talking with Craig there. We're going to try this dwarf monkey orange, or these plants I told you about. They're very difficult to drive through. So we're going to sort of skim the thickets while hopefully keeping an eye on him.
Elephant to the left.
Oh, there's an elephant to the left. Where is he, Liam? Well spotted. There's a big elephant here to our left in the thick bush. I'd love to show you, but I also don't want to lose this very elusive cat. Oh, there he goes, there he goes, there he goes. Look at that posture. That's hunting, that's curiosity, that's interest. There's something just here, and it's not the elephant that he's looking at. The elephant's about 50 yards to the left of the leopard, so no concern there for the leopard. But look at that tail tip. Look at the movement. That is a leopard ready to hunt. Yo. Well, what is he up to now? This is very exciting. In the last few minutes, apart from the fact that he's moving and that he's got into very, very difficult terrain for us, he's on 2 occasions looked interested in hunting, and he's at the moment looking very curious. The tail tip was twitching, all the typical behavior that you can associate with a leopard on the hunt. There he goes. Also talking to Craig, one of the other guides. There's 2 other vehicles joining us. This terrain is very, very difficult for the bigger vehicles, so they're going to try and wait on the other side, and we, once again, like earlier, are going to try and stick with this guy. There he is. Yes, he just becomes almost impenetrable in front of us here, so let's just stop there for now. You can just see his tail tip. Tail tip of a leopard, very sort of a great indicator of its mood, or in this case showing that he's poised and interested in something. Now he's gone back to a normal walk again. But all the time employing all his senses, smell, hearing, eyesight and touch as well, feeling the ground before he puts his paws down. Oh, great VM, well spotted. Sorry, Will, you had something for me? You had some information? Will just letting us know something there. Game drives on the other side, they're waiting for this guy to come out of this thicket. Let me see if I can go through here perhaps. Yeah, got a bit of a clearing ahead, that's good again. There we go. There he is, skirting the thicket. Beautiful, guys. I love this. One of my favorite things on a night drive, firstly, is to see leopard. It's always one of my favorite things to see leopard. But is to have another vehicle with you, and you can use the lights from the other vehicle, and you get this incredible light. You can actually see through the bushes, probably even better than you could with the naked eye. Just look at that. Once again, you can feel that mystery that is a leopard, just by watching it move through the undergrowth like that. Awesome. I can hear a hyena in the distance. Far away, maybe that one from the den. There's a den on this area that you will see maybe on tomorrow's drive. Don't know if we'll have time for it tonight. And you're going to get to know more about hyenas as well. The elephant is still just here, it's just too thick to see him. You get to see elephant as well, and buffalo, all the great animals of Africa. There he goes. Okay, we're going to just go around a little bit. There's this thick stuff. There's a game drive in front of us here. They're trying to get around as well. There he goes. There he goes. Definitely on the hunt, and definitely heading for that area where the impalas were, with all those young impalas. This time of year, young animals are a big part of the predator's focus when it comes to their hunting plans, to their hunting strategies. They have to use the different things throughout the year to optimize whatever opportunities they might have. We're going to go just around a little bit. Game drive vehicles going that way. We now have to have a strategy as well, working together with the game drives. Obviously they want to get a great view as well. We will, I promise you. We're just going to go around the side a little bit, you know, do the sort of the buffalo horn formation if you want. Those guys on that side, it's actually the guest with Lex S, and Aubrey and Texan, they're the two guides from Boyatella and Galago. Good friends, and we're going to follow leopard because he's on the hunt. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. I'm sure I don't have to actually tell you that. You might want to tell one or two friends. I'm going to catch up there to the game drivers at the moment. I want to stay off my radio as much as I can. The guys understand. But we also have our campfire judges now, which is also up ahead. So if you see a fire in the background, don't be afraid. It's only our bush camp or our bush tent. go past these guys. I just need to quickly chat with them. Hello everyone, how are you? Aubrey and Phil. I'm trying to stay off my radio as much as possible. Look at the leopard, they're beautiful. If you look across the front of Aubrey there, VM. So I'm not on my radio, but we just follow. And then we've got Nzilo here for the campfire chat just now. So the fire in the background is part of our fire chat later. So pardon? Yeah, it's been amazing, huh? It's really been amazing. We've been telling them about how happy you guys look on the back of the vehicle with big smiles. And with one of my heroes with you as well, Lex S on the other vehicle, there's a good friend. Guys, we're just sitting here very close to the other vehicle, only feet apart. And it's one of the things I love about safaris, is you just see people with these really beautiful smiles on their faces, happy to see something as amazing as this leopard on his hunt at the moment. So we must keep in mind that this guy is sitting right on the edge of a thicket. Spread out in front of him is this open area, you could say full of food. It's not really how they look at it. Animals out here are very interconnected. There's a lot of guys, it's important to know that this leopard at the moment has got to be look at them going right down, can't be seen. Very important to be out of sight. Looks like they might actually be on the stalk. Okay, he's going to circle around. As I said, he's on the edge of the thicket. So his most important thing at the moment is to not be seen, not give his position away. Is that Djuma or what?
It looks like quarantine to me.
Okay guys, we're going to move a little bit. Just slightly forward. Guys, enjoy it, see you now. Reposition ourselves. This leopard is just going to keep skirting that thicket. So if you look around, let me just give you an idea here. This whole area has got an open area on the side, and this leopard is just going to keep skirting it. There you can see the light a little bit on it. Okay guys, it's very, very, very important at the moment to sit back a little bit, because this guy is on the hunt. He can't be given his position away. Now the lights, funny enough, don't play such a massive role in him getting seen or not, because the animals aren't used to the lights at night either. So in a very strange way, and you might think I'm just saying this, but over the years I've seen that the lights have got little influence on what's going on. So we're just going to follow around. So let me just give you an example again. So I wasn't explaining it very well now. This leopard at the moment, guys, is busy hunting. There he is, right next to the tree. Beautiful view there. One of the other game drive vehicles sitting next to him. And he's been skirting the sort of edge of that thicket. He's right on the edge of quarantine, this open area. And once he is in the open, it's much, much easier for animals to see him. So he's just sitting, just sort of seeing what's out there. At the moment there's some wildebeest not so far away, but they are too big. Young male leopard like this, he'll be hunting impala, young impala even better, maybe young wildebeest. He actually did catch, I'm trying to think how long ago, 10 days ago or so. That incredible 2 days when he'd caught a baby wildebeest, but very much, or literally sort of after birth. He caught it within the first few hours after birth. So it's not typical for them to catch wildebeest unless they are very, very young. So he's just now sort of looking into the night, seeing what's out there, what might be hunted. Oh, look at that beautiful posture. He's in full stalk now. I don't know what he's going for. I can see these 2 wildebeest to my left, but they're too big for him. I'd love to show you the wildebeest, but they're a little bit behind the bush, and we don't want to take our eyes off this leopard at the moment. That is an unbelievably beautiful view. To see leopard in full stalk mode, to see them in that low down crouch and moving like quicksilver is something you don't get to experience every day, even if you're out here every day. I haven't seen a leopard crouch that low and stalk that low in a long time. Oh, look at that, flat down to the ground. Beautiful, although I'm still only seeing the wildebeest in the distance, too big for him. But what he has done is he's got into the next little thicket. It's just this tiny clump of, call it low brush, on the edge of the clearing. See a couple of wildebeest just trotting off in the distance there. I was just looking at my watch there. Guys, keep in mind that we're getting to the end for those of you watching this on television, but we are going to have a campfire chat after this, and I'll tell you what after this means just now. Normally we'd end at 7 South African time or Central African time, but we're going to stick with this cat. We are with a leopard live in Africa, busy hunting. Yeah, we're going to stay with it because this is what it's about. This is the good stuff. But we are going to have a campfire chat. Hayden and them are busy getting ready there. We are going to stay with this leopard. Coincidentally, they're not very far from each other. In fact, we might even see the campfire later while following this leopard. And this really is what it's all about, guys. Being in Africa, being in the wild, living out in the wild. I've been very fortunate to have done that. It is so awesome. And look at this leopard, just sleek. I mean, just blending into the brush there. Oh yes, and if you want to stay with us, it's WildSafariLive.com. So I'm just getting it into my mind. So there's just so much going on. I'm just amazed at where we're sitting with everything going on around us. WildSafariLive.com. If you want to stick with us and this leopard that's busy hunting and is going to be hunting, and to get around the campfire later on. I'm still not sure what he's looking at. Those 2 wildebeest that I could see has moved off. Well, they have moved off. And I don't actually see something around here, but obviously this leopard has got something in mind. Another thing to keep in mind, for the hunter, he's got all the time in the world. Once he's given himself away, it's much more difficult to hunt. So we might think 1 minute or 2 minutes or 30 minutes or 40 minutes is a long time. For the hunter, patience is everything. Moving without sound, feeling each blade of grass before he puts his paw down. What a privilege to sit here and see this, and to be sharing it with people all around the world right now. That's awesome. Right, well, we're almost running out of time here for television, and just a reminder, we are going to follow this leopard for a bit more, see what it gets up to, as well as go to the campfire chat, and we'll do so on wildsafariLive.com if you want to follow us or stay with us. But at the same time, if you can't, don't worry, because tomorrow when we go for a drive again live in the bush in Africa, we'll recap or give you a bit of a sort of a catch up on what happened today. And it's been an awesome day. I cannot tell you, for a first live safari for many of you, this has been fantastic. So I'm sure you're going to join us again, and you'll get a bit of a catch up on what happened today and what's going to happen after this as well. For those of you that are going to stick with us, we'll see you around the campfire, and we're going to stay with this leopard for now. It's been a massive privilege and a massive, fantastic, enjoyable afternoon for myself. I have to say thank you very much to everyone involved with this. Most importantly, to you who's watching right at this moment. Without you, we would not be able to be here. So before we run out of time, I'm going to say thank you to those that can't stay with us. From myself, Peter Pretorius and VM, also from HT and from Brian, all the guys back at control. It's been awesome having you with us, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. So I was just taking a few seconds here, reflecting on everything that's happened in the last 3 hours with this, thinking of what could happen in the next hour or so still. And for those of you still with us, there's so many things I'd like to say now. Firstly, I'm going to mention his name. Graham Wallington has always been so huge on guys being able to join us for this, like you're doing right at this moment. So I'm glad that those of you that can stay with us are still here, and that we can follow this leopard for a bit more, maybe see a hunt, who knows, maybe see a kill, not impossible, but certainly share magic African moments together. And that's what just happened the last 3 hours. And to just talk about the leopard now would be for me being blind to what we just shared. So thank you everyone, mostly Graham, most of all, for doing this. This has been what it's about. This is what it's about. This is what we're going to be doing for the next 8 to 9 days and for the next few months still. And I'm hoping for the next forever. I'd like to do this for the rest of my life, because this is just amazing. And we're going to keep doing it, and thank you, every individual that's part of this. As I said, if it wasn't for you, and I'm talking to you right now watching, we wouldn't be able to do this. I just had to say that, because that is the obvious, beautiful thing to talk about at the moment. As obvious as that stunning cat sitting there in the bush, looking at the area, looking for a hunt, because that's how it survives, that's how it lives, that's what it is. Moving soundlessly. You can see those long whiskers. Incredible light at the moment. I love it from the other vehicle. Those long whiskers play a very important role in this quiet movement as well. The feet, as I said earlier, between the toes, you've got this fine hairs, and they can feel where they put their paws. They can move the foot if there's a tiny little twig that might break. Oh, that's beautiful. Those whiskers at the same time, they can feel before they're going to stick their head through some dry leaves and maybe move the other way or go a little bit lower down again. But this is just, if I say the word right, enigmatic at the moment. It is like a whisper or like a dream. It's almost you're afraid to look away because it might disappear. This is just so beautiful to see. Just look at the shape of this animal, how it's perfectly designed for what it's doing at the moment. Silent in the bush, deadly in the bush as well, but silent and beautiful. Every aspect of its body, from its tail tip to the ear tip to the whiskers to the coat and the markings, everything is just perfect for what we're watching at the moment. Out in the bush, and that's why I love Africa, and that's why I love wildernesses. Not just Africa, around the world, wild places. You have moments like this where nothing else matters. Where it feels like your heart might jump out of your chest because it's so beautiful. And to share that with people around the world, to bring you here for this right now as it happens, something that makes me feel like my chest might actually jump out of my heart. Or the other way around, which is probably more correct. You know what I mean. You have these moments that is just so much bigger than one person, so much bigger than one species. Amazing, amazing to observe. Just look at that. I don't even know what to say. Sleek, silent, almost unimaginably beautiful. Right in the open at the moment, to keep the light as low as we can. Go wide, Liam, go wide. Wide. As there we go. We have to keep the lights off. It's in the open. I'm going to show you something just so you know where we are. Liam, gaan buite asseblief. Cannot put the light on the cat now because it's gonna. For the moment, I just want to keep the light off him because otherwise we're going to ruin his whole evening. I'm just going to give you an idea of where we are. But to put the light on him at the moment will give his whole game away. He's been waiting patiently for a few hours to get here. He's been sitting right on the edge, stalking as low as the ground. And while he's right in the open, we want to give him a little bit of call it the cover of darkness. Because as Wilbur Smith said, the leopard hunts in darkness. Notice the game drive vehicle as well. Keeping the lights off for now. It's smelling there, and I wonder what it's smelling. This is where the impalas were earlier. Maybe just keeping the scent of those impala in the nose. Guys, we're gonna move a little bit as well. I actually just pulled out my hand torch here. We're gonna be so close to this leopard potentially that I might actually go to a little hand torch at the same time. Look at that, there it goes. Look at that beautiful visual. The lights you can see in the background there, just over the termite mound. Those lights are from our campfire chat waiting for us. That's where HT and them are sitting. They can actually see this leopard from there as we speak. Slightly more relaxed now. You can see the posture is not quite as hunting mode as it was earlier. God, look at this, look at this. On the right hand side here. Off it goes. There's our hyena. So we're going to get back to the leopard in a second, just while the hyena runs off. There's the leopard. Now what the hyena is doing is it's just sticking around waiting to see what the leopard does, because if the leopard hunts, the hyena's plan is to steal that food from the leopard. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. Predators have got other predators to consider as well. There goes the hyena in the background, just going past, just keeping around what's going on. Actually, that hyena is almost, wow, that hyena is probably 20 yards from the campfire. As this is all happening right here. Wilder than we could have imagined it. Look at that. If you look at the leopard now, you can actually see Hayden sitting around the fire in the distance. There you can see him sitting, with the smoke coming from the flames. That's where we're going to sit and talk to you just now. That's how wild it is where we are. There Hayden's looking. Brilliant! The hyenas around there, the leopards around there. And I love this. One of the things that I love thinking about and talking about is that we are all part of one environment, all part of one planet. People tend to so often separate themselves from our surroundings. We tend to think that we are somehow separate from everything else, but we're all in one place. Leopard, hyena, people, trees, birds, bees, everything. And beautifully illustrated tonight how we can all share space. I'll keep on where he's going. Here's the hyena walking along. This might actually be the same hyena we saw eating termites not so long ago. One of those beautiful evenings, one of the most beautiful things we've seen in the last few weeks. It's just catching all those termites as they were flying out of the mounds. Looks like the same size, probably the same individual. And maybe looking for some insects again. Hyenas obviously scavenge when they can, they hunt as well, but they also eat lots of the smaller things. I'm going to move. I know we want to look at this hyena, but guys, I have to show you something. Because this leopard is going to the campfire chat. Alright, brilliant. Well, this is all really, I mean, if a plan is coming together, this really is coming together, because look at this. We're going to go to the view from campfire just now, but for now I just want to show you this. We are right here. There's other vehicle, there is Djuma, and you're going to get a view from that side as well to see what it looks like from the campfire as well as from this side. I don't know what to say other than that this is just unbelievable. Amazing.
Almost looks like he's stalking
Yeah,
Eden.
there we go. There we go. Great. Aiden's got the light on him. Look at that backlight. I love it at night when you've got that, just the edge of the lighting there. Keep the light steady there, guys. And Djuma is sitting down. Guys, as we said, we've got everything happening right together here. So have a look at what it looks like from the campfire. Enjoy it. We are sitting just meters away from you. Alright guys, sorry, I thought we'd gone there already. We're going to go to Hayden a bit, see what it looks like from here, or see what it looks like from there. He's just in the background, so enjoy the view. We're all here together. This is amazing. Let's enjoy it.
Well, welcome folks to our campfire chat that we had planned to have Pete just sitting right here or walking in very quickly after we finished, but something fantastic has happened. We've got a leopard walking up directly behind me at the moment. So if I do turn over my shoulder now and again, you'll know why. It's literally about 50 meters from us. I'm not going to put the light on it right at the moment because it's shining right into Pete and the other guest's eyes. But there is a leopard just behind us. We're going to cross back to Pete in a minute. I think I've got hyena across here as well. And eventually Pete will be here. The whole plan was just to have it working perfectly, and Pete drove in and sat down and we all had a bit of a chat. But we've got a leopard hunting behind us, and I think that's a fantastic thing. You can't really plan this sort of stuff, folks. It's just a brilliant thing, and that's what Wild Safari Live is all about. This is what it's about. Every single little thing that happens, you get it. It's happening right now. All the little hiccups, all the little tiny raw bits, it's happening right now. So I didn't plan for this. I haven't really got a script, never had a script, but we've got a leopard coming up right behind us now. It's pretty cool.
Well, Djuma's still sitting here just watching what's going on there. I think he's finding it quite curious. You can see the movement, the smoke. Keep in mind, this is a young leopard. Which means he is still curious about things, much more so than older leopard would be. And that looks like what he's up to for now. We're going to just move a little bit. He's just settled down. With that patience of the hunter that I mentioned. Now he's not hunting the campfire, he's just looking at it. It's curious for him. Let's quickly see where we're at. Can I come back more, Vivian? Behind me, I can't see. Oh, here's the hyena. Guys, look at this. This is just Africa at its best. Let me just figure out where I am. There we go. There's the hyena. Right here. The leopard's just behind the tree in front of us, so we might get a little bit of movement, or the leopard might go up the tree. This is getting very close. I'm just using a hand torch for now. There's the leopard right down in the grass, just stalking. Look at that. Right there. Right there, right there, right there. The hyena doesn't know about the leopard. Whoop, up the tree. That's the benefit of being a leopard. Guys, this is insane. We're sitting 30 yards from the campfire. We've got a leopard up in the tree. We've got a hyena at the bottom. We've got people from around the world sharing with us. This is just this is amazing, and I've done this once or twice before. This is unreal. Unbelievable. Where's my other spotlight? I wish I had 4 hands, because the hyena is now walking over. There's the hyena. You should actually, well, you know, difficult to say where to look. The hyena is walking right up to the camp. Here, have a look there quickly. Okay, so there goes the hyena. Back to the leopard up in the tree. He's going to climb up again. Look at that. Amazing. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. 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 Let me just see, maybe the hand torch could work better for this. Yes. Well, I have to apologize that we can't be sitting around the campfire talking just yet. We've got leopard and hyena and all kinds of things joining us, so we'll just go with it and see what happens. I'm sure you don't mind. And this is right now. This is right now, and that's just awesome that we can share this as it happens. Yes, beautiful view. Let's have a look from the campfire side what it looks like. We'll enjoy the leopard from all the different views at the moment.
So folks, this is certainly something that we weren't expecting. We have an absolutely incredible sight behind us here. We've got a leopard lying in the tree directly behind our fireside campfire chat, and this is just absolutely incredible. What an incredible thing. I cannot believe this is happening to us. We have looked for leopard on quarantine up here for days, and now they present themselves in the tree behind the shot. It is real, folks. I'm telling you that. It is real. It is real and live. And this is what Safari Live is all about. This is actually happening right here, right now in the Sabi Sands in South Africa. I don't think you could actually wish for more than this. A leopard has walked into our shot directly behind us where we're having our chat. My goodness. I love this place.
Spectacular time with him, and yeah, just want to come solo because we're just there.
Right, absolutely, mate.
We're going to go closer again.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
closer. It's not much closer. It's just, yeah.
Absolutely.
You can have a look at it from this side. See at the fire just now.
Okay, mate, no worries. Isn't this spectacular, folks? An incredible encounter with this cat. And what a start to Big Cat Week. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, we've seen some pretty spectacular stuff over the last month. Wild dog, leopard, lion, absolutely beautiful hyena. But this has got to take the cake. This leopard has just come up and sat in the tree behind our shot. And there's no way in the world you could have planned this. This will be a story to tell for a very long time. Absolutely incredible. Djuma. What a beautiful, beautiful animal. We've got a question from Melon. Sorry, can you repeat control? Megan, sorry, Megan in Illinois. I do apologise, Megan. I'm trying to shine this light on the cat and talk to camera so you can hear me. Megan wants to know what would happen if, or what would we do if that cat approached us? Well, there's a couple of things you could do. You could probably just clap your hands and it would probably go away, unless it was a bit cheeky or it was ill or it was a bit cantankerous and had a bit of a taste in the past for humans, which the accounts of humans being attacked by leopards are not as many as, I mean, definitely an animal to be very well respected, that for sure, but it's not as much as what used to be documented historically. But we could probably bang a stick on the vehicle or something like that, Megan, and it would probably run off. Worst case scenario, we just have to be faster runners than the cameraman. That's the real true answer, Pete, isn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Just get
I mean, when we actually do interview the cameramen, we ask them how they went at school in their sports and athletics, and if they say I didn't do athletics, they get the job because we can run faster than them. So that's basically what Pete and I have done. We said,
that's cool, I got him.
Oh, well done, beautiful, lovely. Lovely.
Sorry, this is just hello everyone. Nice to be at the campfire.
Welcome, mate. Great stuff. What a day. Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. I mean, this is, we were joking about this.
Absolutely
this. Imagine there's a leopard right there when we're doing this.
I can't believe
we
it.
We literally said that.
Oh,
we didn't add in an hyena walking right up to the vehicle and 5 lions and a buffalo and...
My goodness. What a start to the week and the weekend for us. And just, I can't tell you how excited and happy we both are. You know, had a little bit of a sprinkle of rain earlier today as well, and I was just like, oh no, we really want to do this chat, and Pete and I and the whole team have been looking forward to it. It's a bit of a hectic one to get started because we had to rush up here, try and get all the equipment done in the dark, and then you got leopard, you got hyena, you got people, all this different stuff.
All these things going on.
What we need to get from you is something very, very simple. Questions, questions, questions. Questions at WildEarthTV, or you can tweet us at